the Humane Society of the United States Companion Animal Program. Gary Kaskell is president of United Action for Animals. Welcome. Betsy, I'm going to start with you. You're getting a lot of calls?
We have been getting a few, and we have over the last few years, ever since troops started being deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq. Some military members are having some difficulty finding placement for their pet, and the Humane Society of the United States is working hard to try and get them resources and information to help them make those temporary arrangements so they don't have to give up their pet.
Right. So just so people understand how dire it can get, sometimes, you know, they end up abandoning them, or they end up taking them to the local shelter, and if you can't find them a decent home, they get put down.
That's correct. Unfortunately, shelters around the country are often stretched to the limit with their resources. They certainly do everything that they can to help all of the animals that the community brings to them, but sometimes there just are not enough resources. And with the added number of military pet owners delivering their pets to their shelters, it can become a difficult situation for the local shelter.
Okay, we're corralling Mookie here because he's desperate to play with his little pal.
Mookie's very interested in Buddy.
Now, when you have placed animals before for military personnel, you know, for those who may say, oh yeah, I'm getting called, you know, next month and I've got to figure out what I can do. You do screen temporary foster homes.
Oh, certainly, yes. We work with a network of foster care and permanent adoption homes, and they're always screened very carefully. We had a young military man that was in the Army Reserve get called up very quickly at the last minute, who was came to us, and he was, you know, very upset about having to place his dog so quickly. He didn't know where to go. His family wouldn't take it, so we did take it and foster care for a while. Eventually, he decided it would be best to let the dog be adopted out permanently, and we did that too.
Really? So is there, like, if there's a website, is there a website of people that people can go to if there are folks in the audience who say, gee, I'd like to be able to give a temporary home? Do you have is there a way that they can contact you?
Well, we're United Action for Animals based in New York City. And there's petfinder.com on the internet, which is a national resource of all the shelter animals across the country.
And netpets.org, which also has done a lot of placement of military pets.
Right, netpet.org.
Right. Betsy, if people are interested in helping out, what do you want them to know?
Well, basically, they can certainly go to our website at hsus.org/militarypets, and on our site we have a checklist for military personnel that will help them to make those arrangements for their pet. And we have also some forms and things to help make that transition easier into a foster care home. Things like a personality profile that will help the temporary caregiver know what those pet's likes and dislikes are, so that they can make that pet feel comfortable and at home.
Betsy, is this the first time you're seeing this, or did this happen in Desert Storm too?
This is not the first time. This did happen back again in Desert Storm, and it seems to creep up whenever there is a big deployment of troops. It seems to be worse in some communities than others. So we certainly want to help military personnel make those arrangements in advance, just like they do for their children and their other life responsibilities, so that they have that pet when they get back from serving our country.
I should let people know that Mookie Wilson, the big guy down here, and little Buddy both could use adopting too.
Yes, they're
right?
both up for adoption here in New York City.
Right. So if people want to be either permanent or temporary foster homes, what do they need to know? What should they be prepared for in the commitment?
Well, of course, being a foster care provider is a little bit different because you know in advance that you're going to be returning the animal to its owner. So, you know, people tend to bond very quickly with pets, so you do tend to fall in love with the animals. So when you agree to foster a dog, you have to kind of go in with the emotional knowledge that you're going to be, you know, separating yourself from the pet at the end of the process. Permanent adoptive homes, of course, you make a long-term commitment. It's a 15 to 18-year commitment if it's a young animal to take care of it for the life of that animal.
Right. Okay. Well, just in case somebody sees Mookie and little Buddy and they want to adopt, just know that these two critters are available. Gary, Betsy, thanks to you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good more to come here on the other side of Daytime.